So, after uploading my first video, and to be exactly honest, I really wasn't expecting much of it, I went to study. After a while later, like at 2 AM in the morning, I wanted to check up on the video, even though it really wasn't a very promising one. But it gained much more attention than I thought it would, and some people are very supportive about it. After reading those comments, and I remind you, at 2 AM, I immediately started editing of the second video, and here I am now. I just want to thank all those people for motivating me, and seeing this nice and welcoming indie game community on YouTube, it really felt good, and I really appreciate it. Oh, and one last thing, thanks to my friend Monista for helping out with the script. You're really helpful and a really great friend to have. Thank you. For taking more of your time, let's get into it, shall we? Remember what I said at the end of the previous video? I was talking about planning ahead, so it's trailer time. I immediately opened a new board and started writing out my basic ideas about the game, and another list to state out the bugs I could possibly encounter during the development. 4 different guns to choose from, basic props added into the map, and express the story of what happened there. Which raises one important question: what will the enemy be? Let's look at my Steam profile to get an idea then. A game about zombies, another game about zombies, a PvP tactical shooter, which, to be honest, there are lots of other indie tactical shooters being developed, so no. A battle no. A racing game, a space exploration game, and another zombie game. Well, zombies it is then. Thanks to my friend Jaeger and my other friend Smirnov, I mostly play nothing but zombie games. Not that I am a sucker for zombie genre too. But hold on a second. My game's enemies won't be just old school generic zombies. I want there to be something challenging among them too, like Left 4 Dead's Special Infected. At this stage, I'm thinking about a special zombie called Freaker, which is a mixture of Left 4 Dead's Hunter and State of Decay's Feral. I'm sure that I can come up with more ideas about more special zombies later on, but for now, one is enough. First things first, I need to learn and make a basic zombie AI. I want this version of the game to be the alpha version of the alpha version. So I'll add basic cinematics at the beginning and at the end of the level. And I want a friendly AI character to lead the player throughout it, so let's add him too. After making my trailer list, it was time to work on my guns. Let's make them go pew pew then. I created a function on my parent gun and told it to spawn an actor whenever it was called. In this case, my actor is Projectile. I'll work on that later, modify it and whatnot. Anyways, what code does is it gets the gun's barrel reference points and spawns a projectile from there. I told the function to play a placeholder montage and decided to play it. And that's where I encountered the problem. See, while making my gun parent, I made a mistake. I needed to do these functions in gun parent before creating 2 other child actors from it. This way, no matter what I do in the parent blueprint, adding something won't affect child actors. So I went ahead and set up what was going to be in the gun by watching a video, which was made by Ryan Laley. Please go ahead and check his videos too. He's a perfectly talented person and he helped through most of the stuff. I set up my guns variables and created another function for reloading. After telling the code to do some math on my guns, I went ahead and set up few other things. Then I started working on my automatic rifle. It was basically doing the same thing with the semi-auto, but after firing, the code was telling it to check if the player was still firing. If true, the code was delaying at the rate of fire and then going back to do it again. Well, it was final time to work on my projectile. I deleted the code which was adding physics to my projectile and just commanded it to destroy the actor. Then, went ahead and changed my projectile speed. Then it was time to add some UI, still following Ryan Laley's tutorial, which is a great tutorial and will help beginners so much, and I encourage you to go and check it out as well. It was time to check if it was working properly, and to my surprise, it really was! No, these placeholder assets were really getting on my nerves, so I decided to work on my own stuff. Before going on to model my own assets, I went to Illustrator and created blueprints. They aren't actually blue, but you get the idea. To work on and exported them. Then I, with barely any experience, went to Blender and started modeling my own assets to use. I was planning on making my game a low poly one, so high detail models weren't really what I was going for, which was a huge relief to me. Here you guys can see the finished drop low poly model. It looks good for a rookie, I presume. But there was a problem. See, while making this model, I knew little to nothing about first-person animations, or basically animating a gun at all. I just modeled the whole thing as one piece, except for the magazine of course. I shouldn't have done that, because no, I cannot make the reloading animation with the gun's charging handle getting pulled back. So you know what I did? I went back and modeled the second gun, which later I found out I could just cut away those parts from the gun and pull those pieces and use it. But Red Argoxian is done, so... Anyways, whatever doesn't kill makes it stronger, and it did! Second model turned out way more cooler than the first. Later on, by following another tutorial I found on the YouTube, I learned about UV mapping and texturing. I later went ahead and textured the gun. It was kinda sketchy, but I'm willing to look away for now. Well, it was finally time to import my assets into Unreal Engine and replace the placeholder asset. Well, it seems the texture isn't there, and I have to find a way to import the textures as well. It's really not that big of a problem. Let's import the model into Engine and see how it looks. What the fuck? Well, it's huge. But the gun being enormous isn't really big of a problem, and it's really easy to fix. All I have to do is just change it to the right size. I can get away with it now, but I have to re-import the model and adjust the size later. This is why I created the whole box list anyways. Well, it turns out I really messed up the whole importing progress, and currently UE4 doesn't see a skeletal mesh, which means I can't replace my placeholder asset. I deleted everything and tried it again with changing a few things. I swear to god these Devlogs are just 90% me messing up. So I know I can fix those things, and for now I wanted to put them into a bugs list and fix them later. Then I went back to Blender to work on my player model. I see all these UE4 tutorials on YouTube and all of them are about 3 FPS camera. The difference between 3 FPS and FPS template is, in UE4's template or player, as you remember, is just a pair of flying arms, and in 3 FPS what they do is they attach the camera to the third person template's player's head, and that's it. The problem I see with that technique is that the gun player thing is an FPS camera is shaking and wobbling too much. It feels unreal and sometimes even nauseous. As someone who plays airsoft, I know the gun doesn't shake and wobble around that much when you are moving around. Even when you are sprinting, that doesn't happen too much because the gun is constantly pressed against your shoulder and fixed into a position of aiming. From what I understand, and keep in mind that I could be really wrong here, that wobbling and shaking happens because the player character is playing an animation made for third person characters to play. And it's not really that much of a problem for other people, I suppose, but it is for me. That's why I choose the FPS template instead of TPS template. So maybe some of you are asking, what does this whole information has to do with you making your player model? And I would say, in FPS template your character is basically a pair of flying arms. If it wasn't, your camera could push through your body and see inside of the mesh. But I will model my player not as a pair of arms, but as a whole body. In theory, I might have found a way around that seeing inside of your body problem. We'll see after modeling and importing my character into the game. Everything at once. As you can see, half of this template is me trying to figure out the mirror modifier, and even though I couldn't get much done, I failed at making my player model miserably. So, this video was nothing but failures. Shit! But this is not the end. As long as I can come up with ways to fix these problems, I can solve them and continue my way forward as a rookie game developer. And if I can't come up with any solutions, the internet is filled with them anyways. So, sorry for not being able to show too much stuff on this Devlog, but I promise I'll come up with new things and fixes on the new one. Anyways people, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and are interested in my game making journey that is damned, please subscribe and like the video and comment down below your ideas and suggestions, because those really motivate me way more than you can think of. Anyways, take care, stay safe, and see you all around, people. Argoxians out.